Hi guys, in this video, I want to prepare you to do review assignment 1.2, which if you go to a final and AP exam comprehensive review over here in your course menu, click there, you'll see it right here. But before I get to that, I just want to go over again, talk about what you need to do to prepare to take review quiz 1.1, which is 10 multiple choice questions from a prior AP exam. And so if you go to final and AP exam resources right here on the left of your screen in the course menu, and click there, and then click on the basic economic concepts. So this, if you go to the Khan Academy website, which I just did, I just clicked on this link right here, and that brought me right here. Now, if you want to see the whole program, just to see, what it is, you can click right here on AP College Macroeconomics. So let's just click there really quickly and you can see. So this is 6 units, very closely aligned to the AP curriculum. So this is really a great way, or the best way I have found of being totally prepared for the AP exam. So we're doing the first unit right here, a basic economic concepts, and then there's unit 2, 3, 4. So you can just see all the and then the last one's here. So you can see all the topics. So for each week of our 6-week long review, we're going to be doing one of these units. So when you click on unit 1, the one we're doing this week, you can see you've got, if you count, you've got, I believe, 29 videos that you can watch. Each one are about 10 a minute. So that's, about 5 hours of viewing. You don't have to view the whole video. If you click on it, I'm just going to click on 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, the fifth video in the first topic, scarcity, economic models. If I click on that, and you can start viewing the video, you can certainly fast forward through it. You can sort of see what it is, and you can make your own decision on how much time you actually want to spend on each of these videos. This should all be, most of this should be review, right? So it's not going to be a new material. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can go to the lesson summaries right here. For each of these lessons, you've got one here. You've got the lesson summaries is at the end of each of the topics, and click here, and you can just read a summary. You can actually read a summary. So if you read through this summary and you think to yourself, well, I've got a really good handle on this, then you may not need to view all the videos. If you read through the summary and say, I don't understand, I need to see this video. I mean, I need to learn more about, what normative analysis is, or I want to find it, I want to look at the videos because I don't feel like I'm, I feel like I need some more review, right, on this topic. So that's up to you. You can also take the practice quizzes here, and that is a good way for you to assess for yourself how much of a mastery you have on each of these topics. Okay, can you start here? And there's one here. So each topic. So in the first unit for this week, you've got scarcity, opportunity cost, and the production possibilities curve, comparative advantage and the gains from trade, demand, supply, and market. In the market equilibrium, disequilibrium and changes in equilibrium. Now, the 10 questions on assignment, let me just jump back here. These 10 multiple choice questions on review quiz 1.1, review quiz 1.1, I should say, are going to be from that unit, are going to be questions that I have determined are assessing the topics in the unit, basic economics, basic economic concepts. Now, quiz 1.2, which is the real purpose for this video, is going to be a free response type of question, and there's no way I can find a free response that only assesses unit 1 or one unit. The free response questions are all multi-part questions, and they tend to assess several areas, several topic areas. So I need to help you with that, because it's going to be, because you almost have to have the whole, a command of the whole course in order to do a lot of these free responses. So let's do that now then. So for review quiz 1.2, you're going to be looking at a model that you've seen before, the U.S. loanable funds market. And the question that you're going to want to think about here is the U.S. loanable funds market responding to an investment tax cut or a tax increase? How do you know? Now, I want to remind you again that if you go back to your course and you go to your resources, you can look at this the document, all the graphs you need to know, and you can open it up and you can certainly scroll and read about that graph, read about what are the variables, what are the shifters, right? And taxes and investment are going to shift demand, because because the demand, let me just jump back over here so it's easier to see. Where are we here? Because the demand for loanable funds comes from investment, comes from domestic investment. Once again, think about this type of investment would be an example would be, a homeowner wants to get a new roof, right? They want to invest in their house because that would be an investment, right? So in order to get a new roof, they're going to need to go to the bank and borrow the money. So there's going to be a demand for loanable funds. That's the kind of investment, a domestic investment, that we're talking about here. So an investment tax cut would make investments would make folks more likely to want to invest. So if we use the roof example, maybe there's a tax incentive. Maybe I'll get a break on my property tax if I have a new roof, right? Let's just say that. So, okay, so I want to pay less property tax if I invest in home improvements. So that's going to increase the demand for loanable funds. Okay, so think, and it just makes sense. If you think about tax cuts on it, if the taxes on investments are lowered, then it's just going to mean there's going to be more investment because they're less expensive, right? And it's going to push the real interest rate up, right? So the next model that you've seen before, again, is the foreign exchange market model. And just always remember that whatever the currency is in the model, in other words, whatever currency you see in the horizontal axis, you're going to see in the denominator of the vertical axis variable. The vertical axis variable is a fractional variable or a ratio of one currency to another currency. So in this model, we see that the value of the dollar is appreciating, but that's relative to whatever the currency is in the numerator, which in this case is the euro. So relative to the euro, the dollar is becoming more expensive. It takes more euros to buy the dollar in this model. So is the foreign exchange market responding to European investors seeking investment opportunities in the US, or the other way around? How do you know? Well, if the demand for dollars is increasing, as we see in this model, in the foreign exchange market, it tells you that foreign investors are looking to invest in the U.S. So they're demanding dollars. They're exchanging their euros for dollars in order to look for investment opportunities in the U.S. And this is a different type of investment than the domestic investment. This is financial investment. This could be buying bonds. This could be, this is the type. Think of the investors here as lenders. They're lending money, and when you buy, when you buy a government bond, that's what you're doing. You're lending money to the government by buying the bond, and you want a return, right? You want to be able to cash that bond in later for some, a return. So anyway, that would be a capital, if we're thinking in terms of the U.S. as the home country, that would be a capital inflow, right? So you're going to have a capital inflow if you have a capital inflow. What that means is foreign money is coming into the U.S., but in order for that to happen, it has to be exchanged for a dollar. So you're going to have an increase in the demand for dollars in the foreign exchange market. Okay. The next model we're going to look at is one you've seen many, many times before. And so in all these models, and in your quiz, are related. So we can see here, for example, if the real interest rate in the U.S. is going up, that's going to attract a foreign investment, because the return they're going to get on their financial investment is going to be higher. So if we have this, you're going to get this, and if we have an appreciation of the dollar, you're going to get something very, very interesting. And this is where, you get a lot of confusion, because your first instinct is to think, well, if the dollar is appreciating, if the dollar is getting more valuable, isn't that a good thing? Well, the answer is it depends. If we're asking the question, how does the dollar gaining value against the euro affect exports from the U.S. to the Eurozone? Well, if our dollars are becoming more expensive, which is what's happening here, so euros buy fewer dollars, or you can think of it takes more euros to buy $1, then Europeans are going to find U.S. goods more expensive. So they'll buy fewer U.S. goods. So our exports to the Eurozone will actually decrease which means that if we look at the aggregate demand model, we see that it's a consumption plus government spending plus domestic investment, which could actually go up, which we've seen before, but we're actually asking about, so this could happen, but we're really just focusing on, and the reason why this could happen is because of the investment tax cut over here. But that's, so it gets, you know, so there's room here for a debate, but let's just take that out of it and just isolate what would happen if the dollar appreciates against the euro, exports to the euro become more expensive. Net exports are going to decrease because net exports are exports minus imports, right? And if exports go down and imports go up, this expression, this whole expression, net exports, is going to go down, isn't it? Right? If you're subtracting a number that gets higher from a number that gets lower, then the whole expression goes down. And since net exports is a component of aggregate demand, if net exports goes down right here, then aggregate demand is going to shift to the left. It's going to decrease. So the U.S. aggregate demand right here is responding to increased imports. Why are imports going to increase from the Eurozone? Because if the dollar becomes more valuable, if the dollar appreciates against the euro, then that means to U.S. buyers, U.S. importers, European goods become cheaper, right? So they're going to, so imports from the Eurozone to the U.S. are going to increase. Exports from the U.S. to the Eurozone are going to decrease. And you get what you see right here with aggregate demand. Lastly, how does this impact the U.S. money market? Now, understanding the money market, I would also highly recommend going back to your handout here and reading all about the money market graph. It's also in your book. You'll be viewing videos, Khan Academy videos. But anyway, for now, we're looking at this idea that, you want to know if you're seeing a shift in the demand for money, you need to, ask the question, what causes the demand for money in the economy to shift to the left, to decrease? Well, that would be changes in GDP. So if GDP is doing what we're seeing over here, if it's contracting, going from YF to Y1 because aggregate demand is decreasing, if there's less aggregate demand in the economy, which means there's less consumption, less government spending, less investment, that's going to mean that aggregate demand is going to shift. Well, lost my train. That's going to mean that the demand for money is also going to decrease, right? It's going to decrease. So net exports going down actually decreases aggregate demand, which decreases the demand for money in the money market, right? Which is going to lower nominal interest rates. Okay, the only way the supply of money is going to shift, and it's perfectly inelastic, so it doesn't respond to changes in the nominal interest rate at all. The supply of money responds to actions by the Federal Reserve, either increasing the money supply or lowering the money supply. Right. That's it. So a good luck on your on the quiz 1.2. I'm sure you'll do fine. Well, I'm sure you'll do well.